In a rustic village, an old man's diary unveils the tale. Meanwhile, a stranger wielding a massive sword arrives and the old man reluctantly welcomes him since his eyes speak of the events from his past, Havok's precisely. Contrary to the fears, the man stays utterly quiet during his initial stay, and the old man does not come across anything out of the ordinary, nor does he seem to be considerate about. After a month has passed, whispers of his daily sword practice persistently reach him through the villagers. As the time marches on, village weaves stories about his past, contemplating if he is a vengeful knight or renowned mercenary. The narrator, initially indifferent, becomes intrigued by the swordsman's relentless training over 6 months and decides to witness it firsthand. Contrary to his expectations, the display is disappointingly ordinary, especially to one accustomed to watching seasoned swordsmen, and consequently, he no longer pays heed to town gossip. Soon after the disappointing show, a new family, including a retired mercenary and his children, enters the village. The narrator is taken aback by mercenary's daughter Rima, a cheerful girl he deems an angel. As the time marches on, storyteller notes that their village has relied on the sword for 3 years. Upon the teller's marriage with Rima, 5 years have elapsed since the stranger's arrival. Despite various events, the swordsman remains steadfast, swinging his sword daily. The question lingers in his mind: is it truly for practice, or is he torturing himself? Haunted by this thought, our narrator takes upon himself to check on the diligent swordsman daily. At 6 years, 9 months, and 3 days amid persistent snowfall, the swordsman's determination remains unyielding. Our narrator celebrates the birth of his first child with Rima, an occasion that unites the townsfolk. Yet the swordsman persists, undeterred by weather or festivity. Time marches on. Our narrator, now a grandparent, awakes to his grandson and Laura, his daughter, announcing a trip to the village market. Our narrator is now the chief of the village. He declines Laura's offer and opts for a leisurely stroll through the transformed village. The village president stands before the rugged gate, reflecting on the 37 years since the stranger's arrival. Meanwhile, upon entering, he discovers the swordsman, who appears aged and motionless with his sword clutched tightly. He lays the swordsman to rest, closes his eyes, and offers a hopeful farewell. At that moment, a blue-eyed prince awakes in a sweat, bewildered by the Inception-like experience. Moving on to the renowned Pereira estate, nestled in the southern Hale Kingdom, the Pereira barons' children are a source of local renown. According to the guard, Lady Curl gains her title at a mere 11 years due to her rare sorcery abilities, surpassing even high magicians. Speculation arises about her appointment by the royal family. However, the guard reveals that Lord Aaron, the firstborn, holds precedence, leaving the others in stunned silence. The mystery of his status and the reactions of those around him linger in the air. Aaron, known as the deadbeat noble, gains notoriety for his reclusive habits after his mother's tragic passing. He withdraws from all activities. Given the circumstances, it is understandable that Princess Curl is his more proactive sister. As 3 guards chat idly, Princess Curl and her mother Amelia, the Duchess, approach. Curl reprimands them for neglecting their duties, prompting apologies and deep bows. Curl persists, demanding specifics until her mother intervenes, deftly saving the guards. With a shared look and sly smile, Amelia asks if they understand their mistake, to which they fervently agree, bowing once more. Inside the palace, the sounds of Lord Aaron Pereira's grunts echo. It is unusual for him to have trouble sleeping at this hour, given his reputation as a late sleeper. The culprit? A recurring dream vivid enough for him to taste the weariness and feel the accompanying muscle soreness. Yet what truly baffles him is the surging energy coursing through his body, leaving him trembling. He knows he needs an outlet. With a trembling voice, he calls out, his butler promptly responding. Initially hesitant, Aaron's request leaves the butler puzzled. The lazy lord calls for a sword. The butler stands in silence, looking at his master with a mix of surprise and curiosity. In the Pereira family's training hall, everyone's attention turns to the unexpected sight. As they are all witnessing the astonishing event, whispers swirl like a storm as Aaron, accompanied by his butler, enters the hall. Contrary to their assertions, Aaron approaches the wall adorned with an array of swords, with his gaze fixed on the largest bladed one. His butler offers to summon an expert, however, Aaron waves him off, fixated on his choice. In the end, he picks the sword with the most imposing blade. The guards question their reality, and one even dares his comrade to pinch him in case he is dreaming. The reality of the scene sinks in, distracting them momentarily. They watch intently as Aaron, trembling, grips the weighty sword and assumes his stance. His swing is feeble, given his stamina and inexperience. Witnessing the lazy lord step out of his room for the first time in ages is a spectacle, leaving many in awe. Why has he taken up sword training? Some speculate Lord Garen's son's involvement, suggesting he's motivated Aaron through humiliation. Humiliation, a potent motivator. The lingering question is how long this newfound pursuit will last. As the palace's activities resume, Aaron persists with his sword. His butler observes, disdainful of the speculations. Predictions on his endurance range from 3 days to 30 minutes. The butler reminds Aaron that everyone is different and he must seek guidance. But the young noble is immersed, grappling with the aching strain in his arms, questioning the reason for this newfound impulse. With surprising vigor, Aaron wields the sword, his frail body pushing beyond its limits. Despite exhaustion, he feels an odd sense of ease when he swings like he saw in the dreams. It also helps him in erasing painful memories and confusing thoughts. Only his butler physically halts him as the sun sets and snaps him out from his reverie. Confused and still buzzing from the experience, Aaron collapses into his butler's arms, drained. Perplexed at how quickly the day has passed, he questions why he was stopped. His butler, knowing better than to leave him, explains he had tried calling out multiple times. In his room, he bemoans the pain, doubting his ability to endure such training any further. Blaming the recurring dream, he wonders how he could sleep with such discomfort. Soon he falls into a deep slumber. Days later, a surprising sight graces the dining hall. Aaron devours his sandwich with gusto, leaving his butler in disbelief at his newfound activity. He asks if Aaron will train again today, receiving confirmation. Inwardly, Aaron reflects on his haunted dreams and the relief he found through practice. Determined, he orders more sandwiches and milk to fuel his efforts. Finally, he feels the energy of a true protagonist coursing through him. The trading hall buzzes with speculation, bets placed on the outcome of the day's events. Even the new guard is drawn into the conversation, sharing his own prediction. Suddenly, a hooded old man with a walking stick approaches, signaling an impending lesson for our hero. The guards question him, but he assures them he is a wandering traveler and former swordsman, seeking only to watch. Arriving in the hall, the older guard is shocked to witness Prince Aaron, once known for his laziness, now fully engrossed in training for the 4th consecutive day. The younger guard, who had bet on Aaron's persistence, collects his winnings, confident in his foresight. Aaron's sword practice has become a popular betting game among the guards. The younger guard remarks that Aaron might continue due to the humiliation inflicted last month. Meanwhile, the Gandalf-like figure observes Aaron in silence, assessing his form. Considering Aaron's recent start, the old man deems his progress not entirely futile. However, his swordsmanship leaves much to be desired. The weight of the sword seems too much for Aaron's current strength, evident in his labored breathing and poor pacing. How long can he keep this up? The old man ponders whether Lord Garen's son is the catalyst for Aaron's sudden dedication. How much mana will he expend? These concerns swirl in the old man's mind until a gust of wind disrupts his thoughts, followed by a guard's exclamation of astonishment. Above them soars a griffin, a legendary creature, ridden by none other than Princess Kyril. This legendary creature with eagle wings and a lion's body boasts a steel-like coat. Its existence defies belief, confined to legend. That is, until Princess Kyril arrives, effortlessly controlling her creations. She confronts the trembling guards, showcasing her remarkable talent. This is Princess Kyril, fearless. Now, a new apprehension grips them. The princess singles out the guards, chastising them for neglecting their duties. She spares not even the elderly overseer, swiftly dismissing him. The elder guard, assigned to the afternoon shift, defended his innocence. Princess Kyril, however, remained skeptical, suggesting he might be speaking without merit. She was aware he wasn't typically stationed at the training grounds. Her scrutiny persisted until Aaron intervened, questioning her unusual demeanor. After a brief silence, Kyril instructed her brother to cease whatever silly things he is doing these days. Witnessing Aaron's persistence visibly irks Princess Kyril, who bursts out that mastering swordsmanship wasn't a casual for someone who had been idle for years. She even compared his skills unfavorably to the rookie guards. Aaron stayed silent in response. It was only Queen Amelia's arrival that interrupted the fight, leaving everyone bewildered by her sudden arrival. Despite Kyril's initial resistance, only the queen possessed the authority to call her out. Amelia commended the guards for their diligence and cautioned Aaron against excessive practice. With that, they departed, leaving the guards visibly relieved. Yet, amidst their relief, Griffin the creature emitted a loud squawk, causing them to startle in their armor. Frustrated, they wondered why the princess did not take her creation along. The old man grinned on the whirlwind that was the famed princess, yet his attention swiftly shifted to Aaron. He observed the young noble, unfazed by the commotion, diligently practicing with his sword. The old man resolved to continue observing Aaron for a few more days. As night fell, when Kyril attempted to sneak in, she was thwarted only by Aaron's vigilant butler, who informed Kyril that the young master was already asleep. Surprised by his sudden appearance, Kyril expressed her intent to speak with Aaron. When the butler resisted, a potent gust of wind swirled around her as she confronted him, an evident display of authority. Fortunately, Kyril swiftly dispelled it, instructing him to keep the encounter confidential. With the butler humbled, he watched in silence as she went inside the room and handed over the apology letter to her brother. Discovering a letter at the cat's feet, he eagerly read it. It was from his sister, apologizing for her earlier words at the training grounds. She had been concerned for his well-being and left him a doll with soothing properties, hoping it would aid in his recovery. What a caring gesture. She also advised him not to inform their mother per Queen Amelia's directive. Intrigued, Aaron flipped the letter over, finding more words, this time inscribed by the Queen herself. She encouraged Aaron to communicate with his sister if she became overbearing, emphasizing the importance of secrecy from Carl. With a contented smile, Aaron reflected on the profound care his mother and sister showered upon him. Just as he pondered this, a knock resounded at his door, his butler announcing breakfast. The thought struck Aaron to join his family for the meal. His butler, moving swiftly, departed with a pleased expression, noting the positive change in the prince. It was a rare occurrence for the entire royal family to convene for meals, especially with Aaron present. Kirill filled his plate with various dishes. Just as the queen was about to advise moderation, Aaron expressed his gratitude to both parents and Kirill. Even his father echoed these sentiments. When Aaron apologized for any worry he caused, his father swiftly dismissed it. Later, his father broached the subject of Aaron's swordsmanship practice. Like his mother, he emphasized the importance of not overexerting himself, commending Aaron for his dedication despite a late start. Aaron assured his father that he wasn't pushing himself too hard and there was no need for concern. Back at the training grounds, the guards marveled at Aaron's sustained determination, now 2 weeks into sword practice. In their discussion, one guard noted the hooded old man seated in the corner. His presence was sanctioned by the higher-ups, so there was no need to disturb him. In the old man's contemplation, it had been 10 days since he began observing Aaron's training. Initially, he assumed the young noble's motivations stemmed from pride and a sense of inadequacy. Yet the old man quickly realized his error. He knew of Aaron's moniker, the Lazy Lord. However, Aaron's dedication defied this label. For someone unversed in formal swordsmanship, Aaron's unwavering commitment was extraordinary. Such steadfastness was a rarity in his memory. But astonishingly, he witnessed this resolve in 15-year-old Aaron. With sustained effort, he believed Aaron could unearth his true potential, potentially becoming one of the era's greatest swordsmen, given the right guidance. Aaron, weighted sword in hand, practiced diligently under watchful palace guards and an observing old man. The old man inquired if Aaron received private swordsmanship training, but the arena keeper revealed Aaron's father was arranging a tutor, Sir Orn Jerk. The old man's grave expression startled the keeper. This rascal tutor of Aaron was infamous for drunkenness and berating trainees after. He was unsuitable for guiding a promising swordsman like Aaron. The old man swiftly left, determined to intervene. He couldn't let Aaron be mentored by such negligence. He hurried to Aaron's father's office, where he disclosed his concerns. The lord, surprised and concerned, sought confirmation. The old man somberly affirmed. Astonishingly, Aaron harbored the potential for swordsmanship mastery. This revelation both pleased and worried the lord. The old man presented a letter of recommendation for Aaron to attend the esteemed Kronos Swordsmanship Academy, an elite institution surpassing even the Royal Academy in prestige and treatment of its students, regardless of their lineage. Aaron's acceptance into the school was just the beginning. Becoming a trainee was a whole new challenge. Could he endure it given his recent start in swordsmanship? This was Lord's foremost concern. Lord summoned Aaron to his office to reveal the recommendation letter for Kronos Swordsmanship Academy. Astonished, Aaron needed time to decide. Lord, a supportive father, emphasized that the choice was Aaron's alone. In his room, Aaron mulled over the recent events. His main question: did he have what it took? He hadn't been very active for the past decade, mostly sleeping. Yet this opportunity wouldn't have come if he lacked potential, right? Gripping his sheets, he resolved not to languish in despair. He chose this not just for himself, but for his family. Well done, Aaron. He promptly informed Lord of his decision to try his hand at the academy. Soon he bid farewell to his family at the palace gates, causing a stir. Tears welled in his mother's eyes, his father gazing on proudly, while Kurl wished him well. In the carriage, as Aaron gazed outside, his butler produced a necklace from Kurl, a small sword pendant. They arrived at Kronos Swordsmanship Academy, its imposing facade filled with novices. Approaching the academy's entrance, Aaron encountered Lord Bart Lloyd, a blue-haired prodigy from a distinguished family. Aaron, introduced as Lord Ferrera's son with a recommendation from Sir Somerville, was warmly welcomed. The knight assured him of his potential due to Sir Brand's endorsement. Directed to the auditorium, Aaron thanked the knight, unaware of the ensuing conversation. Guards speculated about Sir Brand's rare recommendations, especially for the reputedly deadbeat noble. Entering the auditorium, Aaron faced judgmental gazes, including those of the Bart and others' red-haired trainer, introduced himself as their instructor. acknowledging promising candidates like Ilya Lindsay. Her exceptional talent intrigued him, even surpassing her older brothers. Bart, eyeing Alia, pondered the challenge she posed. Red-haired trainer emphasized their preliminary status, stressing the academy's rigorous training. Official status required passing exams and enduring a year of intense training. Red-haired trainer led them outside, directing them to leave their belongings. In the oval track, now bare of armor, he explained its purpose for physical training, focusing on cardio and muscular endurance. It was mostly flat, with a few slopes for running. Without warning, red-haired trainer sprinted, marking the start of the endurance test. He accelerated, leaving the trainees behind, many struggling to keep up, including Aaron. Rhett, mindful of pacing, maintained his speed for the long run. Glancing back from the rear, Rhett saw Aaron far behind, already struggling. He couldn't help but think that Aaron's nickname, the Lazy Prince, was well earned. Meanwhile, Aaron contemplated the challenge, pushing through the hardship. As the trainees continued, red-haired trainer noticed Aaron's struggle but didn't comment. Aaron, determined to emulate the swordsman in his dream, pressed on, shaking but resolute. Bart observed in astonishment, while red-haired trainer smirked at the noble's determination. Aaron knew this trial was a small price compared to the ordeal of his dream swordsman. He aspired to reach that level and knew he had to surpass his former self, the lethargic lord.